Well, hello and welcome to AP Economics. My name is Mr. Aronow. This is a unique way of starting the course. We, of course, don't usually start here in the summer, but this year, with the school year starting late and fewer days between the start of the school year and the AP exams, we just have to get a little bit of work done here before September comes, and that's why we're doing this. So today's presentation is just a chance for me to introduce myself and the course to you a little bit and give you the opportunity to ask some questions if you have any. So a little background on me. I've been teaching here at Germantown for this is my 13th year, and I started the AP program for economics back in 2014. So this is the fifth year of AP economics at Germantown. I also teach Intro to Econ. A few of you took that course with me last year, and some of you have actually taken my world history class as well. I teach that to sophomores from time to time. I studied economics and geography as an undergraduate in college and went on to grad school to study economic geography, put those two together. I've also earned a master's degree in education. I spent some time working in radio before I got into teaching, pretty much all throughout my 20s. I was a radio broadcaster that involved a lot of news reporting, sports play-by-play, broadcasting, and some on-air DJing. I've taught overseas. I did my student teaching in the country of Hungary. That's in East Central Europe. And I spent a school year teaching in Ghana back in 2010. It was a teacher exchange program. So if you happen to have older siblings, you may have had somebody who was here at Germantown High School when a teacher from Ghana was here, because I went to Ghana, which is in West Africa, and a teacher from there came here, and we sort of did a job swap for a school year. I live in Milwaukee. I'm married. I have a daughter, and we have three too many cats. So if anybody wants a cat, my wife and daughter may not agree, but I'd be happy to provide you with one. This course, a little bit about it, it's broken into two semesters. Content-wise, it's a full year class, and in the first semester we'll study something called microeconomics, which is more or less the study of decision making. Economics is really about how we make decisions around how we use resources like time or money or other things. And so the first semester, microeconomics, is what we'll be learning about. And then in the second semester, we change gears. And while macroeconomics uses many of the same decision-making skills that you learn in microeconomics, it focuses on something entirely different. It focuses on basically what we call the economy. It focuses on the nation and even the global economy. That'll be in the second semester. At the end of the school year, or close to the end of the school year, there are two AP exams. One's in microeconomics and one's in macroeconomics. They're two separate exams. You would register for them separately. They each require their own fee. And those two exams will assess how well you've learned the content throughout the school year. And so my goal, my number one goal actually, is to prepare you for those AP exams, to give you the best chance possible of earning a high score on those AP exams. Now, it's not required that you take the AP exams. Most students do. Probably about 90% of my students ultimately sign up for and take the AP exams, but some students don't. Either they don't feel prepared, or they maybe are not going to a college or university that accepts AP exam scores, or they just have other reasons for not taking the exams. Excuse me. The curriculum in this course, just so you're comfortable with the language, you're going to hear the word module, or sometimes I just call it a mod, quite a bit. The textbook is broken up into sections, which in many textbooks, those would be called units. And then the sections are divided up into modules, which they're not quite the same as chapters in a regular textbook because they're quite a bit shorter. I would say a typical module runs 5, maybe 6 pages. Some are 3 or 4. Some can run 10 or 12 pages, the modules can. But I assign reading based on module or mod. So, the first reading assignment you have is to read Mod 1, which gives you an introduction to economics. After many of the mods, I do give quizzes in class. They tend to be relatively brief, 5 to 10 questions. They're almost always just multiple choice. And it's just a chance for you to see if you're getting the material, if you understand it, and a chance for me to find out how well you're doing. At the end of each section, we have tests, and those tests are really where the bulk of your grade will come from in this course. The tests are mostly multiple choice questions as well, and there'll be 8 of them in the first semester, all on microeconomics, and then 5 more in the second semester, and those will deal with macroeconomics. At the end of each semester, you'll take a final exam. Those are required. You cannot exempt. They're actually useful for you. I think you'll find you're not going to want to take them probably, but I think you'll find them useful because they are actually, these final exams are College Board created AP exams. The College Board is the organization that writes the AP exams. And I have copies of previous AP exams, and you'll get one of them for your final exam at the end of the first semester and again at the end of the second semester. And that'll give you a chance to see how well you are prepared for the actual AP exams. They're a pretty good check of your level of preparedness. And then in the first couple of weeks of May, we will have scheduled into the course a couple of weeks to help you review for the AP exams. So we'll do microeconomics first semester, macroeconomics second semester. We'll stop learning new material sometime toward the end of April. You'll actually take your second semester final exam. I didn't tell you this a moment ago. Your second semester final exam is actually going to be at the very end of April or perhaps the very first week of May. And then once that's done, you'll have 2 more weeks of review to get ready for the AP exams, which are on May 15th and May 17th. And then we'll have another 3, possibly even as many as 4 weeks after the AP exam, during which we'll delve into some other economic topics that aren't related to the AP exams. And we'll do some fun activities, watch a movie or two perhaps. It's kind of relaxed. It's a relaxed way of learning and having fun. And frankly, it's a reward as I see it. You work so hard during the year, even before your classmates are doing schoolwork. You're working here in August. You'll have earned a bit of a break. And so the second half of May and the beginning of June next year, you'll find it to be rewarding, enjoyable, relaxing, so you can look forward to that. So just a little bit about the AP exam. Many students have taken AP courses. If you're a senior, maybe you've taken AP Psych, or maybe you've taken AP Calc or Stats, or perhaps AP Biology. But some of you have never taken an AP class before, so let me just tell you what this means. So AP stands for Advanced Placement, and it's a program that's run by an organization called the College Board. They team up with high schools and with universities around the country. And what they try to do is they try to help teachers like myself put together a course that is essentially the same as what you would experience if you went to college and took an introductory course in a topic in college. So if you were to go to UW-Madison, for example, and take an economics class, the first one you probably would take would be something called Introduction to Microeconomics, or maybe you would take Introduction to Macroeconomics. That'd be a 1-semester class, and what you learn in that class would be very similar to what you're going to learn in this class. And so the idea is at the end of this school year here, you are going to take an AP exam if you choose to. And if you score well on that AP exam, it's a signal to universities that, hey, you learned this material and you deserve credit for having taken a college class. Now, each university, each college gets to decide whether or not they want to participate in this program and exactly what it is you need to do to earn those college credits. So AP tests are scored on a 1 through 5 scoring system, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. And generally people say if you score a 3, a 4, or a 5, you've passed the exam. But it doesn't exactly mean you've passed the exam because it really depends upon the college that you ultimately go to. So I've just sort of picked a few universities and colleges students of mine have attended in the past. And let's take a look. UW-Madison, for example. If you score a 3 on an AP exam, that would be AP Micro or AP Macro, the University of Wisconsin at Madison will say, hey, you get 3 general elective credits, but you can't actually call them economics. In order for you to get an economics set of credits, you actually got to get a 4 on the exam, which is a little harder than a 3. And if you do get a 4, then they'll allow you to have 4 credits of either Econ 101 or of Econ 102, depending on which AP exam it is that you scored a 4 on. And you can see UW-Milwaukee is somewhat similar. Whitewater, they only require you to get a 3 on the exam. If you get a 3 on the AP exam, then you get 3 credits of Econ 201 or 202, which is their version of Introduction to Micro and Introduction to Macro. Marquette University, if you get a 3 on the AP exams, doesn't get you anything at Marquette. You actually got to get a 4 for them to give you anything, and then they'll give you credits. And then there are some schools around the country. I have experience in the past with colleges like Stanford. They don't give credits in economics. So even if you got a 5 on the exam, Stanford would say, well, good for you, but you're not getting any college credits here. Same thing happens at some of the Ivy League schools on the East Coast. And so whatever colleges that you're considering going to, I would encourage you to go to Google and just search, Northwestern AP scores. And there'll be a page that will tell you exactly what you need to earn at each college. So what are the chances that you're going to score a 3, a 4, or a 5, or maybe a 1 or 2 on the AP exam? Well, it's hard to say because it's based on your own individual skills and aptitudes and effort. But students in the past have done pretty well from Germantown. So I've taught this course now 4 years. I've had 204 students take either AP Micro. Well, actually, I've had 204 take AP Micro, and then 204 students took AP Macro. They're actually not the same 204 students. Almost all students who take one take the other. But from year to year, there's always 1 or 2 or 3 students who choose to only take one of the 2 exams. And it's just based on how prepared they feel. And it just so happens that exactly 204 students have taken Micro and 204 have taken Macro. So how well have they done? Well, in Micro, a score of 5 has been earned by 100 students out of 204. So that's just about half. 49% of students have scored a 5. And then 69 students scored a 4, so that's another 34%. And then 28 students scored a 3. So if you add that all up, that's 96.6%. So almost 97% of students who have taken the Micro exam have passed it from Germantown. In Macro, we're at about 94% who have passed it, so a little bit lower. However, if you look at the 5s in Macro, 111 students have scored a 5. So it seems as though in Macro, more students are extremely prepared for Macro, but a few more students are failing to get a 3. But 94% still is very high. So taken together, it's about 19 out of 20 students who decide to take these exams at Germantown ultimately pass them. So that's very, very good. And the truth is, before you take these exams, most of you are going to have a pretty good sense as to whether or not you are prepared to do well. Only a handful of students each year go into the exams wondering whether or not they're really going to pass. So I think we help you get prepared for these exams pretty effectively. I've done it for 4 years. This is the 5th. I'm pretty confident in the program that we have here. Of course, it requires you to step up. I mean, for many of you, this might be the first time that you're going to really be challenged academically in school, and we'll see how you respond. Some people really step up and grow as students. Others find that they aren't ready for the challenge. So let's hope that you're in the first category of students and not in the second. So you have some work to do before the school year starts. I'll be posting a number of videos, many of them not created by me, but they're worth watching. Certainly do your reading. I'm going to put some practice quizzes online as well as some activities, some problems, some practice problems that you can do. So all of that stuff is stuff you need to do before the school year starts. When we start the school year, we're just going to have a couple of days before our first test of the year. So don't put this off until the school year starts. Come into the start of the school year prepared for that exam, or at least as close as you can get. All right. If you have questions anytime, feel free to email me, or you can post comments here below these assignments here on Google Classroom. All right. Take care and have a great last couple of weeks before the school year starts, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.